I've closed over $5 million in high ticket sales before turning 22, not by memorizing scripts, but actually by running one 5-step framework on every single objection a prospect has ever thrown at me. And I call it DICEs. In the next 15 minutes, I'm gonna teach you the entire framework. Then I'm gonna walk you through the most common 5 objections that you hear on calls and show you exactly how DICEs handles every single one of them. Before we jump into the DICEs framework, the thing to understand about objections is that every objection has 2 reasons. One is the surface layer, which is what they're saying, and the other is the root layer of why they're saying it. If you only respond to the surface layer of what they're saying, you're gonna lose the objection because that's not actually why they're saying it. Until you understand why they're giving you that objection, you can't close that deal. The whole point of DICEs is to get you to the root of the objection and then close on the root. So here's what DICEs actually stands for: disarm, isolate, commit, emotion, and sell. So first, let me get into the D of the DICEs. Number 1, after you get any objection ever, the very first thing you do, no matter what the objection is or who is it given by, it doesn't matter. The very first thing you do is you disarm the prospect. You tell them no problem at all. I totally understand. And I want you to mean this. Like, don't just say, oh, no problem at all. I totally understand. Like, and be all jittery. That's not what you should do. What you should do is be calm, get an objection, be like, you know what? I totally understand. No worries at all, Mr. Prospect. I totally understand you want to speak to your wife. I totally get why you'd want to think about this. I totally understand why you'd want to sleep on it. No worries at all. Very first thing you want to do is bring their guard down. If you never get their guard down, you never actually get to handle this objection. You're fighting them. And that's not what objection handling is. You should be on their side, helping them figure out how to make this work for them instead of trying to fight them to do this. If you try and fight them, they will never buy. Okay, so you always disarm first. You always agree first. It just helps you take the pressure out of the whole room and the whole call, and just makes everything a lot more chill. Then the next thing is isolating the objection, making sure that the objection that they're actually giving you is the actual objection that they have. Or if you find out if this is the only objection that they have, or do they have more stuff that they're actually objecting to as well. So the simplest question to ask is, aside from enter objection, is there anything else holding you back? Aside from speaking with your wife, is there anything else holding you back? Aside from taking a night to think about it, is there anything else holding you back? Aside from praying on it, is there anything else holding you back? Aside from this being too much money for you right now, or seeming like too much money for you right now, is there anything else holding you back? No, nothing at all? Amazing. So the reason why I love to ask this question is really 2 main reasons. Number 1, it lets you figure out if they have any other objections. And number 2, it locks them in on the objection they actually do have and they committed to. So now they're not going to be going back and forth on what objection they actually have. Once they commit, no, there's nothing else holding you back besides what I just said. If they do say there's other stuff holding them back besides what they just said, now there's other stuff that you have to handle before you can handle this objection. Number 3, you want to get them to commit, right? So after you disarm them, after you isolate the objection, then you want to get some commitments from them. And the 3 main commitments I like to get is, number 1, do you believe in enter business model? So if I'm selling BizOp or if I'm selling something to make money online, do you believe in enter business model? If I'm selling weight loss, do you believe in keto? Do you believe in paleo? Whatever it may be, whatever mechanism you're selling, number 1, do you believe that this mechanism actually works? You want to get a firm commitment yes on that. Second thing I want to get a commitment on is, do you have the time to put into this to make it work? Are you able to commit 10 to 15 hours a week to actually do this? That's the second commitment. Then the third commitment that I get is, do you believe that the creator and the program that we have here can actually help you get to your goals? Now, it's very, very critical when you get these commitments that you're looking for a firm yes and not a hidden no. For example, you might hear, sure, I don't see why it wouldn't work for me, or I hope it works for me. That's not a yes. That doesn't sound like, yes, let me go 6K down the bank right now to give you some money. It sounds like I'm kind of a little scared. I'm not really very too clear about what's going on. Okay. They need more selling done. Okay. But if you hear a firm, yes, 100%, I totally believe in the business model. I totally have the time to put into this. And I totally think the creator can help me out. It's just the objection that's holding me back that I mentioned earlier. Then you know for a fact, once you handle that objection, there's nothing else stopping them from giving you the money and actually moving the sale forward. So again, weak yes, you want to go back and resell. You want to give them a lot of value again. You want to sell them again. Whatever you feel like you fucked up on, you got to sell them again. If you get firm yeses, now you know, okay, this is the only objection for me to handle. Let me go back and handle this. Next part is emotion. This is where you want to invoke emotions in the prospect's mind and heart And this is the real ninja tactic. And the reason why I say this is a ninja tactic is because whatever their objection is, you should tell them a story about yourself where you had to deal with that same objection. For example, let's say they're telling a story about how they don't have the time to commit to building a business right now. Let's just say that's the main objection. So then you can tell a story about yourself about back in the day when you were working a 9-to-5 job and you didn't feel like you had the time to start the business, but you realized at that moment that you were going to give up on your dreams forever because you're going to make the excuse that you don't have the time forever, or you were going to decide to make the time for it because this was important enough for you to make the time for it. And time's a very funny thing, right? Everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. We get to choose what we want to spend time on. And the reality is, if something is important enough to you, you're going to make the time for it. And if it's not, then you're not. And when I realized that, then I decided, you know what? This is important enough for me. I have to do this. But that's the decision that you're going to have to make. So where do you feel like what you have to do? Or what do you feel like you have to do? This lets you tell a story about yourself and how you had to go through the decision-making process, how maybe you can even roast yourself and how you were thinking like them before. But because you're doing all the pointing of the finger to yourself, they're not going to get offended at anything you say on the story. But you can still make your point and tell them the exact thought process you want them to have without feeding it down their throat, because you're just telling a story about yourself. So this is a super, super ninja, super tactical tactic where if you can learn how to master really good storytelling, you can make a lot of money, because not very many closers are good at telling really heart-invoking, emotion-invoking stories like this. The essential point of telling stories is you want to deliver a message to them without them getting offended. So you just tell a story about yourself instead so they get that message about whatever objection you're handling. Now, if you guys want some tips on how to tell a really good story, you should look at the Hero's Journey framework, which is like an age-old framework on how to tell good stories. In like the shortest possible ways, you want to break it down into 4 parts. You want to talk about where you started, the mistakes and the hesitations. This is mainly where the objections are. The decision and what it took for you to make this decision, and then where you are now because of it. As long as you cover 4 parts, all these 4 parts of telling a story, your story is going to be good enough for them to get the point. Now, don't make the story 10 minutes long, 5 minutes long. This story should be 2 minutes max. And also, do not say, and that could be you at the end, because it sounds super salesy. You don't need to say that. They already understand. And the last step of DICE is sell it. Once we've disarmed them, isolated the objection, once we've got the commitment, once we've told the story and invoked some emotion, now the thing we have to do is go back to closing. All this time when you're handling the objection, you're back to selling. And now, last step of DICE is you want to close, sell, okay? This is the step where you ask for the sale directly and you just look and wait to see what happens. And that's it. So once you tell them a story about, look, I had the same thought process where I don't have enough time to actually put it to this business. And the thing I realized was if this was important enough for me, then I would make the time for it, because I did want to spend more time with my family. I did want to have the financial freedom to take care of them. So I knew I would make the time for it. For you, do you feel like you would make the time for this? Oh, yes, I would. Perfect. Any questions before we get you set up? Amazing. Credit or debit. Whatever line you like to go for the close, just ask for the sale. Once they give you the commitment, once they relate to the story, like, damn, like you're right. Okay, cool, I'm right. Ask for the sale. Don't be shy asking for the sale. I see so many times where people will just stay in this loop of just handling the objection, handling the objection, handling the objection. It's like, but you can just handle it forever without asking for the sale. Right? The only time you're towards the end of objection handling is where they either tell you yes or no, or you get some next steps. In this middle ground, we don't want to be doing this we don't want to be doing this verbal jujitsu forever. So ask for the sale. Last step, confidently ask for the sale. Okay, that's DICE's. Now let me show you how this applies and works in the 5 most common objections that you hear in high ticket sales. Number 1, everyone's favorite objection. Let me think about it. Again, the surface layer is, oh, he wants some time to think about it. Make sure it's the right decision for him. The root layer is that he or she is not certain enough to make a decision. Nobody sleeps on something they're excited about or something they're certain about. So the whole missing link here from where we need them to be and where they are right now is this level of certainty that they're missing. So we do the DICE's framework as regular. First thing, totally understand. No problem at all. I respect that. This is your decision. Aside from wanting more time to actually think about this and making sure this is the right thing for you, is there anything else that's kind of holding you back from getting yourself started? No? Okay, cool. So let me ask you this. Do you actually believe in this business model? Amazing. You have the time to put into it? Great. And do you believe with our creator, with our program, with all the deliverables that I showed you inside of the program as well, do you feel like with everything that you're going to get, that we can actually help you get to your goal of XYZ? Yes? Okay, cool. So you're telling me you believe in the business model, you have the time to put into it, and you think we can help you out, correct? Awesome. Cool, man. I totally get it. So it's really more so about the feeling of feeling ready, correct? Totally get it, man. Or can I tell you about a time when I was kind of in a similar situation? Yeah, man. So I was 18 years old when I had just gotten into sales, and I was probably like 2 to 3 weeks into training, and my mentor that was training me offered me a job directly. But me being the pea-brained 18-year-old that I was, I told him, let me think about it, right? Because I wasn't sure if this is going to be the right opportunity, if I should look for something else. I just wasn't sure. You know, sometimes in life you just aren't sure. So because I wasn't sure, I wasn't willing to commit to anything. And I told him, let me think about it. The reality was, man, I was just scared. I was just making up reasons to delay what I knew I needed to do. Just like pretending that thinking was smart and this mental masturbation of, oh, I'm going to wait for the right opportunity was the right thing. Honestly, all I did was I wasted 2 weeks of momentum that could have propelled me way faster forward. And I should have been collecting $300 commissions every day for those 2 weeks. The version of me that was gonna make all the money that I made so far was already on that meeting. I just wasn't mentally ready. I was scared. I was acting out of fear instead of acting out of faith. Does that kind of make sense, man? Yeah. Do you feel like you're kind of in a similar position as well? Yeah, man. So do you feel like you have to act more out of fear or act more out of faith? Oh, I think I should act more out of faith. I love that, man, because courage is the prerequisite to seeing success in this business. Amazing. Any other questions for me before I get you signed up? Boom, going for the close. Amazing, man. Love it. I can't wait to hook you up with the coach inside so that he can speak to you in a lot more detail about this. Let me just get you set up here. What works better, credit or debit? Boom, ask for the sale. Objection number 2, it's too expensive. Again, that's the surface layer. That's what they're saying. The root cause is what they actually mean, which is either I don't see the ROI very clearly in this, or the money is genuinely tight for me. Dices will actually help you handle both. So same exact thing. Very first thing, disarm. Totally get it. No worries at all. I can see how it feels very expensive for you. This is a real investment, so I totally understand why you say that. Let me ask you this. Aside from the investment, I know it's the elephant in the room. Aside from the investment, is there anything else holding you back from actually getting this started? No? Okay, cool. Let me ask you this. Do you believe in the business model? Do you have the time to put into it? Do you think that we can help you out? Yes, yes, and yes? Amazing. So you're telling me you believe in the business model, you have the time to put into it, and you think we can help you out. The only thing holding you back is the actual investment. Correct? Cool. And then when it comes to the investment, just so I can make sure I'm on the same page as you and I can actually best help you out, is it more of like you have the investment, but you're kind of scared to invest it all right now? Or is it that you don't even have the full investment available up front? Depending on what answer they give me, I will offer them different solutions. If they tell me they have the money, but they're just scared to invest it all up front right now, I'm going to handle a fear objection and tell a story about how I overcame fear. Versus if they tell me they literally don't have the money, that's more of a logistical blocker than an emotional objection. So then I'll probably get them set up on a payment plan or buy now, pay later if that's the only objection that they have. But the same exact thing works. You tell them a story about a time where you overcame the same objection that they have right now, and then you ask for the sale confidently. Objection number 3, let me talk to my partner. And this is probably the most common objection that I would listen to in my sales teams. So again, the surface layer is what they're saying. I need to speak to my wife or whatever. And the root cause is, it could be 2 things as well. It's either a real partnership decision, if they're business partners, or if they're married and have kids and share the bills together, or it's an exit strategy to just leave the call politely. That's really the only 2 main reasons why people say this. And we do the same exact thing. Disarm. Totally understand. No worries at all. I honestly respect that. Happy wife, happy life, right? Ha ha ha. Aside from like looping your partner in, is there like anything else holding you back from actually getting this started today? Okay, cool, got it. And let's just say hypothetically your partner is fully on board for you to do this. Do you actually believe in the business model? Do you have the time to put into it? Do you think that we can help you out? Yes, yes, and yes. Amazing, man. I totally get it. So then when it comes to speaking with your partner, just so I can make sure I'm on the same page as you and I can help serve you best, I can help you out the best of my abilities, whatever you like. When you're going to speak to your partner, is it more for asking for support or is it permission? Maybe a little bit of both. Cool, man. Totally get it. A little bit of both makes sense. If you had to lean one or the other more, which one would it be? If they say, look, I'm looking for support, then I ask them this. Okay, cool. Got it. So you're looking for support. Totally makes sense, man. Let me ask you this. Hypothetically, let's say your partner says no. What do we do then? And honestly, I don't think they'll say no. But what do we do then? Oh, I think I would do it anyways. Amazing. If that's the case, why don't we get you signed up right now? That way you have something to show them, and that way they have something to actually be supportive of instead of just thoughts and ideas. That's a great close that has worked really good for me. Another good one is when they say, no, I'm looking for permission. If they're genuinely looking for permission and they cannot move without the spouse's approval, there's no point in you trying to handle this objection because they literally can't make the decision. The whole point of these third-party objections is that you want to take the responsibility back on their plate and tell them, look, you can make the decision, okay? But if they tell you out of the way, like straight up, like, look, I cannot make this decision without my wife. I need support. I need permission instead of support. And they explicitly say that. I've never had a call ever explicitly say permission and actually close on that call. I've had many of them close on the second call with the partner, tons of them, but on the call, if they tell you, hey, I literally need permission to do this, they need permission. If they need support, you can actually get them a lot more times. And especially when they say support, I like to tell the story a lot more about a time when I was gonna make my first big business investment. I told my mentor, hey, you need to talk to my family. And it was like the worst 3 days of trying to explain to people who've never made money online on how to make money online. So they never understood it. And all I did was I wasted 3 days of my life instead of working on my business, trying to convince people who will never believe in this idea to support me about it. Does that make sense? Yeah, man. So I was kind of just being an idiot. Like instead of that, if I just realized, look, the decision was on my plate, I would have had like a 3-week head start of making money. You know what I mean? So for you, like, I guess like, how do you feel about making this decision for yourself? So for you, I know you said you're looking for support. Do you feel like it would be easier for your partner to be supportive if she had something to see? Obviously, right? Because she saw like what you were actually doing, what you're up to, what the calls look like, what the materials look like. She would actually be like, hey, this looks awesome, or this looks terrible. And either way, you'll know whether she supports you or not then, correct? Amazing, man. So why don't we do this? Here's what I want to do for you. I want to hook you up with full access to everything. That way you can actually show your wife exactly what she needs to be supportive of. And let's say worst case scenario, by tomorrow, she's like, hey, dude, I don't want you to make any more money. I want my husband to stay poor and a brokey and a beta forever. I'll give you a full refund. How about that? Okay. That close works really good as well. And then I usually schedule a tie down. I make them accept it on their calendar so they get the notifications of the call coming up. And then from there is when I jump on the second call with their partner and close them there. Objection number 4, I have other calls with your competitors. And again, that's what they're saying. But the root cause of why they're saying this is really because they don't think you're good enough yet. They're not convinced yet that you're the right person for them. And more often than not, they just want to compare. Same exact thing. We disarm, no worries at all. I totally get it. That sounds like a logical thing to do. And then we isolate outside of wanting to speak with our competitors or look at our competitors' offers. Is there anything else that's kind of holding you back? No. So you believe in the business model, you have the time to put into it, and you think we can help you out? Yes, yes, and yes. Cool, man. I can totally understand, right? Like making the right decision can seem pretty daunting. And it can seem like you don't even know what the right decision is until you actually jump in and make it. Right? Of course. Totally get it, man. Can I tell you about a time where I kind of had to make a decision like that? Honestly, it wasn't too long ago. Yeah, cool, man. So before I landed this offer where I've done over $5 million in high ticket sales, I actually had a few offers that I had interviewed lined up for, and I was kind of deciding like which one to go with. And I had done like 3-4 weeks of like doing research on all these different companies. I had all these interviews lined up. I had all these job offers too, but I was just like, let me finish up all the interviews because I've researched all of them. So like, let me just go through all of them, figure out which is the best one. I'll rank them, I'll sort them, and I'll figure out which is the best company, and I'll start with that. And that way it'll be perfect. But you know what the reality was, man? After my third interview, I already know which offer I wanted. I already knew it, right? Because I already knew what I was looking for. So the entire rest of the 3 weeks, I was doing nothing but wasting my time. Those 3 weeks, I could have been on that offer already, probably collected 200K, 100K, made some money instead of just thinking and trying to figure out what is the perfect move. When the reality, the perfect move was the one that I wanted to do and just starting it as fast as possible, right? Like I really just thought I was being smart, but the reality was I was just moving scared. Can you see how that was kind of similar to you? Yeah, you can. Yeah, and that's kind of the difference between doing your due diligence and then procrastination by just shopping around. Most people who are just shopping around are doing it because of the second reason. So instead of you spending another week of you just shopping around, based on everything you've heard from us, you told me you have the time to put into it, you think we can help you out, and you believe in the creator, sounds like the only thing you have to do is make a decision to get started. And then boom, you ask for the sale again. What do you say? Ready to rock and roll? Boom, ask for the sale confidently, okay? Tell a story, invoke some emotions, tell that story, and then close. Invoke some emotions, close, all right? Drive the emotions high, close, go justify it with the logic of the ROI of the business. Last objection. I've tried this before. I've tried something like this before and it didn't work for me. So again, that's what they're saying. And what they actually mean is that there was a trust broken with the category. For some reason, they have low trust. I don't know what the reason is. You have to figure that out and ask the prospect. But for some reason, they have low trust with the category itself. They've probably just been burnt before by a shitty program and a shitty guru. And you can do the same thing. I completely get it. Totally understand. If I'd been burned in the past like you, I'd probably feel the same way. Aside from like your past experiences of, being burnt by investing in a mentor, is there anything else that's kind of holding you back from getting started with this? No. So let me ask you this. Do you believe in this business model? Do you have the time to put into it? Do you believe in the creator? Cool. And I would ask another commitment for this type of person is, do you see how this is different? If they say yes, okay, but like, why do you say that? And let them tell you why they think it's different as well, because they're just selling themselves on why they think it's different. So do that as well. Then next step, same thing. You want to invoke some emotions here. So I would typically tell a story about how I started by reselling sneakers. Then I got into Amazon FBA. Then I was reselling sports cards. Then I was trying a bunch of different things. None of them were really clicking for me. I was convinced like I was one of those people that just couldn't make things work. Like other people were just getting luckier than me and I couldn't figure it out. And honestly, man, I was just being a victim. That's called having a victim mentality. Like I let 3 failed side hustles convince me that I could never see success in my life. Isn't that insane? I mean, the truth is, man, like same thing in your situation and my situation. The reality is none of those were probably the right fit for you or me. And that failure wasn't evidence about me. It was just that opportunity was not the right thing for me. And the question isn't like whether you can win or not, man. You're a smart guy. We've been speaking for the last hour. Like I can tell you're a smart guy. The question isn't whether or not you can win. The question is whether you see if this is different. Or the question is if this is different. You just told me why you think it is. Is that right? Amazing, man. Do you have any questions before we get started? Boom, answer the sale confident. Okay? Now, notice the rules underneath. Notice what happened. These are 5 different objections, but the framework is the exact same. The whole point of this DICES framework is that you don't have to memorize 50 different word tracks. You just understand one process that you can take any objection through, and that way you can just freestyle on the calls, sound way more natural, sound like an actual human being instead of a script monkey. And honestly, every single objection at the end of the day really just boils down to one thing. Can I trust this guy enough to give him my money? That's really what every single objection comes down to, believe it or not. DICES will help you build trust step by step by step, help you uncover the actual truth, and not miss any smoke screens that you're not catching. I just gave you all the sauce on how I handle every single objection that ever gets thrown at me. If you want to learn more from me, check out my free course in the description below. And if you want me to work with you personally and help you land a 10K a month high ticket sales role, I will personally work with you one-on-one until you do so. So you can fill out the Typeform application below, where I will personally jump on a call with you as well, figure out if we're the right fit. And if we are, I'll show you exactly how we can help you get to your goals.